Ladies and gentlemen, colleagues, how do they say in the media world, sitting in front of a screen? I would like to welcome you most cordially here in Bad Mergentheim in the entertainment hall, or those listening in front of their screens. I'm really very happy that many of you followed our invitation so that we can see each other eye to eye, so to speak, without a data line in between. Honestly, I was not sure whether we will be able to handle everything in this way. But your approval really confirmed us, corroborated that this was the right step. And I hope that over the next 1.5 days, we will be able to have a successful event and make an interesting impulse or impetus for the rest of the year. Steffi just introduced me. I'm Martin Jauss, 45 years old, married, 2 children, and live here in Bad Mergentheim, a beautiful city, I should say. And now I would like to talk about the host, that is the Würth Group and Würth Industries. But I'm going to keep it very compact because we have welcomed one or the other of you here in Bad Mergentheim, and I'm very happy that many partners of you are here. Partners as customers, partners as suppliers, partners in the logistics chain, and this is what it is all about today. It is not about an insulated look at specific issues. No, it is about the entire process, all of the issues involved which a company has to handle in a process chain. And this is something which you probably know. You know one or the other thing about us, but nevertheless, also bearing in mind the current situation, I would like to give you a perspective, an outlook. The motto is yesterday, today, tomorrow. This is the rough idea. I am here to show you the today in real terms. Stefan Reuss afterwards is going to talk about it in more detail, showing you the smart workplace tomorrow. We, the Würth Group, is a family-owned business. We emphasize this very intentionally so. A family-owned business is more than just a name for us, is more than just the backbone of German industry, more than a mid-sized company. A family-owned business is identification and security. Our owner family, the Würth family, is active in operational terms. It does not hold shares only. No, she's also active in operations. Reinhold, on the left side of this photo, is the son of the founder of this company, and it is the person who represents Würth to the outside world, and is still active. He's 86 years old by now, and he's the only one who really has a complete overview of the company's history. He is the chairman of the supervisory board, and we believe that this is an operative role, as you can imagine. His daughter, Bettina Würth, she is the chairperson of the advisory council, and I think this has been mentioned in the press, has become 60 years old, also a chairperson, and this is similar to a share-based company. This role is also an operative role, is not just a managing or controlling role. She is active for the company for 220 days a year. Now, why am I mentioning this explicitly? Because Würth is not only a family or company name, but it has a family in the background looking after the company and, of course, also takes the company into the future. Würth Group, what is it? And I think there is one or the other number which will explain what it is all about. Last year, short of 14.5 billion euros of revenue were generated last year. Until now, we've generated it worldwide in more than 400 different companies. And one of these companies is the Würth Industrie Services, and you are this company's guests today. We've got more than 81,000 members of staff working for Würth and for the customers. And the core portfolio is 125,000 articles or products which we use to trade. But I'm going to talk about that in more detail a bit later. And a very important factor, and again, this means family-owned business, we are independent in financial terms. I can say a 45% equity rate. This is what we have. And we invest using our own funds and resources. And we've got the financial safety and security. Also in situations which happened last year, which helps us to go through crises in a reliable way and also shape the future and are not dependent on quarterly results or financial markets. Well, sometimes people ask us, how did all this come about? The story or the history within a few decades. We were founded by Adolf Würth in 1945. Now, how did it happen that this Würth history has gained so much dynamism over the years? And this is the reason why we often say we have these 5 catchwords, Qs, so you may say. One important factor is that the Würth Group, and in particular Reinhold Würth, did not wait whether or not somebody queries the services, requests these services. No, he's always been active. What does my customer need? And then he went to the customer in order to find out what is necessary. This is direct sales. Direct sales frequently is connected with Vorwerk and Avon. They have got the largest sales organization in this respect. Now, we are the largest employer for permanently employed field service staff worldwide, all over the world. We go to the customer in order to find out what's going on, what's necessary, what are the problems, where do we need solutions which we can work out together. This decentralized structure, 400 companies, all independent, working their own markets, is another effect as a result, because we are firmly convinced that only independent companies working their respective customer market have the freedom to do everything that is necessary in order to bring us forward into the future. It is our understanding that we've got a strong, powerful brand embodying something. Early on, we started to become active on international markets, and in our industrial environment, there's still globalization. Although over the last few years, particularly over the last 18 months, we heard many discussions about regionalization, renationalization. We are firmly convinced when it comes to the value chains and the respective distributions, we are very well positioned. We have to look at the supply chains and have to place them in a healthy, say, dependence. And we should not batten down our hatches. And internationalization means that we are active and available for all those market actors wherever they need us, on the supplier side, but also on the customer side. Now, quality is an item which cannot be discussed. It must be all right in terms of the product, but also in terms of the process, and in particular in terms of communication when it comes to talking to the partners who we are working with. Now, there are certain basic principles involved in this, and Reinhold, is a very strong defender of these basic principles, and they are the foundation of the Würth Group. And surely I'm not going to elaborate on each and every item here on this list. Now, what is important for us is that we have an open way of communicating. There is this sense of achievement and performance prevalent in the company, and if you demand achievement and performance, then you have to say thank you. And this is the basic principle, and I hope that you will be able to experience it over the next 1.5 years here in Bad Mergentheim, and maybe in front of the screens at home, in the offices. I hope that you get a sense of what all this means. This much about the Würth Group. But now, in more specific terms about industry services, what are we and what are we doing? And who is your host today? We are a relatively young company, young in 2 aspects. We've been around since 1999. This means we are now 20 years old, young in the United States. We would have been able to buy, say, alcoholic drinks in the United States from last year onwards. So this is a bit of the short story of our company. We are young also when talking about our members of staff. We've got 1,740 colleagues working for us, male and female, average age 33.3, 33.5 years old. Now you see, for us, this is a very important factor talking about what we're doing. We had the chance, when founding our company in 1999 here in Bad Mergentheim, we were able to find a new home, so to speak, and you will see it today. All those sitting here and those in front of the screens, you will experience it virtually. And I'm interested in hearing about your impressions, the logistics, tours, and the virtual view of this company and these facilities. Together with our customers, we have created the possibility to invest. Thanks to you, our customers, we have set up the industrial park, 366 million euros of investments. It has been expanded to become one of the most modern logistics centers for supplies and deliveries in Europe. We are located in the heart of Europe, and we are a process and service provider for logistics and also planning or dispatch processes. Well, this is a bit of a bulky sentence, but you see, this is the core of our business, and it is exactly what it is all about. In the heart of Europe. Now, what does that mean? Surely, but Mergentheim is certainly the navel of the world. And this is what the European map shows. And I believe this is a fact which is often underestimated in Germany. I don't know about Reners, but we, as a logistics process service provider, talking about sea parts management, we've got the possibility to reach all locations and sites of our customers in Europe, deliver systems to them, simply because we are located in the center of Europe. And in addition, I want to emphasize the globalization is a fact. We in Europe should never act separately and show nationalistic trends, because the value chains and the supply chains won't work like we're used to. Productivities cannot be maintained, and therefore we can say that European business as a whole must be placed center stage. And this is what we stand for here in Bad Mergentheim. We have got a European logistics center. We've got a European view. And this means that let's say, that all customer plants will receive the same service. We invest in logistics in Bad Mergentheim, in processes, in human people, so that we've got a consistent quality for our customers, but also for our suppliers. We want to guarantee this. This is not possible with borders, and it would not be possible if we were located in Malaga, Spain. So we are really very happy that we are located in the navel of Europe, and I'm sure that many of you come here from this surrounding area covered by this red spot on the map. Appreciate this, because people often enough forget this. What are we doing in a logistics center? Well, digitally or live, you will be able to experience it, what we do. We've got comprehensive logistics facilities, aimed at quality. We've got more than 1.8 million Kanban bins and containers, which we manage all over Europe. This means about 55% of our activities covered by these Kanban bins or containers. And in addition, we've got many packages or pallets which are being sent around Europe everywhere, and this means we want to make sure that everyone gets what they need in Europe. And I mentioned it before, we've got 1,740 member of staff, and we've got a high level of trainees coming to us. We face the situation that there's a shortage of skilled workers, and we as a group, but also as industry service, see ourselves as focusing on those who are important, that is trainees, and they will guarantee sustainability for our company. Young people joining us. You know, we hired 70 apprentices, 4 of them coming from other European countries. You know, they sent in their application across borders to get their training here. And again, it is important that we are a European company, not regionally focused, now that we really offer cross-border activities and can handle everything. I believe this is a very important factor, and from my point of view, it's human to human. Buy things from humans, sell things to humans, having trust and confidence, and this goes across globalization as well as automation. We've got 1.1 million articles in our, say, portfolio. I said 125,000 units core portfolio. We've got 1.1 million. So this is a wide spectrum, and this is what I'm going to elaborate on a little later. Investment at Bad Mergentheim. What does this mean? We are in the lucky situation that we've got large premises which we had the chance to acquire, and it had 143 hectares when we bought it in 1999. We need this space, definitely, because we want to generate the growth, see the increase of articles, of processes, but also see the growth of, say, the space which we need. And we were able to do so that we can put into practice everything that is necessary. As I said, 366 million euros invested, and a lot of it was invested in what is grey and white here. The next high bay warehouse will be set up in a way because we are thinking in European terms, and we get the approval, the confidence, the trust from you. We are happy to have this, and therefore we will be able to do C-part management. As I said, we are active on an international scale. We've got a worldwide network of more than 40 companies located everywhere in the world, and they supply parts to industrial customers using the same philosophy, using the same systematics, but also the same spirit. You know, we are always here for our customers, wherever the customers are, if they need a C-part partner. You see, we are not isolated, but we are also active in a kind of network of companies, a very important component when it comes to cooperation and collaboration with you. Now, what are we doing? We do not want to invent the best screw or bolt of the world. We do not want to come up with a special washer and, you know, urge it on you. No, we want to streamline processes together with you. We want to raise productivities together with you, and want to do so in the locations and sites where you are located. This is our claim. This is our aspiration. We want to reduce, say, the number of suppliers. We want to get away from the product. We want to get to the process together with you. We want to cooperate with you on an international scale, and the diversity and number of articles is to be reduced and take out complexity. This is what we want to do together with you. This is our aspiration. Not only direct materials, but all the things which causes a lot of work for you. Gloves, maybe a screwdriver, a washer, or a drawing tool, whatever, or maybe a hydraulic screw or system. We want to create productivities together with you. All the things that are common parts for us. Now, this is the most important thing in the world for us. A screw, a bolt. For a manufacturer of a wheel loader, not really important. For us, it is the one-all and end-all. A glove for you in purchasing, in logistics, or in production control, not relevant, but for those working there, extremely important, and therefore it is important for us too. This is our claim. C-parts have got a priority in our case. I mentioned this wheel loader. A wheel loader has got about 4,000 individual parts and components. If one of them is missing, well, it's a really disaster. No matter whether this is a nut or whether this is cable ties, the steering wheel or the bucket in front. If one of these things is missing, then of course the wheel loader can't work, and it is our aspiration and claim that this does not be missing, is not missing. We want to make sure that the articles appear when you need them. And we take things a step further. The articles must be there before you know that you need them. And then things really become interesting. To work out all this together with you, this is interesting. And I hope that you take home one of the impulses and one of the impetus which I mentioned and what the possibilities are in this respect. C parts. Offer them in the right quantity, in the right quality, at the right place. C parts. Steffi Post just said, your security is important to us also in terms of health. It is the security of your production processes. They are as important. And therefore our brand core and our promise is that we offer these C parts to you in a reliable manner. Well, surely not easy in today's situation. Supply chains, when it comes to the C parts, that there's one or the other wave, the ups and downs, the seesaw developments, which we cannot close our minds to. It's an interesting time these days. No matter where we are located in the supply chain, no matter what position we have in a company, is always, taking an effort. But I'm firmly convinced, I mentioned it before, if people are working with people, if it is possible to find solutions, if we all look forward into the future, look at the current situation, then we will be able to shape our future positively. 1.1 million articles. Well, you're not going to see them this afternoon in the warehouse. This means the rest of those you do not see can be accessed directly or are somewhere in the supply chain. We have 10,000 more new articles worldwide, which will be made available to the customers worldwide. It is our philosophy. If an article is needed by a customer, then of course there might be a second plant of the customer, a second customer of this customer, a second market segment. So they might also need this article. And therefore, in our case, we do not have a limit when it comes to the diversity and the number of articles available. You see, the number of articles streamlining processes are defined by the customers, and therefore we've got these 1.1 million articles. And as I said, we are continuously growing, and surely everyone needs his or its space you like. And we create this space here in Bad Mergentheim. How can we bring about this productivity? We use a very simple principle to do so. Reinhold Würth went to the customer at the time, and at the time we just had hand cards, which we used to take, say, products from the railway station to a warehouse. We are doing the same thing today, but we are no longer using these hand cards. But nevertheless, you see, we can use lots and lots of technologies. We have a chance to do so, and we can do so taking into account the respective case of application and come up with very, say, innovative solutions. It is our principle. It's very trivial. We buy gloves and then take them to the user. We buy bolts and nuts and bring them to the user. All together, we look at the supply chain and try to find out which article has to be where. Relatively simple, those representing a respective manufacturing company are doing a lot of things, research, development, looking ahead, everything. This is much more complex in a manufacturing company. So it is not easy. Well, what I just said is not easy. This is something which you are going to see this afternoon, because you will see the background, what's happening in the background, in or behind the scenes. The analysis, how regular the requirement, the more regular, the fewer manual interference or interventions should happen. You've got a conveyor belt and a bill of materials. It has to be available when the assembly line moves. This means regular requirement. This must be fully automated. This must happen during the supply chain. We've got Kanban technologies, other technologies, and techniques rather. So all these are solutions which look ahead into the future. The classical area, sporadic or erratic requirements like indirect materials, for instance, this can also be, say, shown in another system, output dispensers or things like this. Now, everything that becomes erratic or sporadic needs a request impulse, and then the online shops, the applications, the other applications come into play. Or if you need something particular, like in winter, for instance, you might need one of these snow spades, then of course there will be classical ordering processes. So regular requests, automated. The more individual the request, the more manual activities are necessary. And this is what we understand about this process. It's not about a fully automated Kanban system. No, it's about the entire bandwidth, because it will create productivity. And this is where the shortage of skilled workers is highest. So this is where we want to work, you see. And if we don't do anything there, then the shortage of skilled workers will become even higher. For this spectrum of, say, performances, together with our customers, together with development partners, we have worked out a large number of solutions. All these solutions are not a standard package. They are put together individually, depending on the requirement, depending on the request of the respective, say, division or department in the industry. Flexibility to cover all these applications is what we believe is our, say, reason for being. It's not about the screw or the bolt. It must fit, definitely. It's not about having the reddest glove. No, it is about the best process for our customers and shape it, influence it. C-parts with a level of security. Well, you see, over the last 5 years, a new dimension has come on stage. We are going to talk about data and data handling. You know, data handling is important. We must make sure that this works in a reliable way, and reliable or safe has a special meaning for us. We do not use a cloud. All data which we have in our business process are being managed in our own computer centers, in our company, have our own companies, our own facilities. Now, this is an element that I believe which will gain significance more and more. Data safety, reliability must be a given, because you say violating or interfering in the supply chain, this will cause a problem. And if you do not have trust in this respect, then things will become problematic. Breaks in this landscape are productivity killers. And therefore, this is how we understand it. We have to set up the foundation that everything that can be automated is, say, enriched by a lot of data. But all this must be safe and reliable. Your data, the data of our customers and partners. We handle and manage these data. Therefore, we want to make sure that they are safe, so that the right article is sent to the right place at the right time. C-parts with a reliability, with safety and security. So this is our promise. And what you've seen, all this has a kind of dimension which goes beyond what you usually think about. And therefore, it was very important to give you some kind of insight into this. And I hope that this was a good overview of the things that we are doing, a short look into who we are. So this means we are going to have a wonderful basis of what's going to happen tomorrow. What are the requirements tomorrow? And here I'd like to hand over to Steffi in order to introduce the next presentation. Thank you for being here and see you later.